Hello students. First of all, we have discussed about the Newton's law of gravitation. That is, there is mutual attraction between any two point masses which is directly proportional with a force that is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Right? Furthermore, we have seen that how this law is proposed by the Newton is with the help of study of the acceleration of moon around the earth and acceleration of an object which is near to the earth. From these two accelerations, that is acceleration due to gravity felt by the moon and acceleration felt by any object which is nearer to earth, from these comparison Newton has proposed this law of gravitation. These two aspects we have discussed about the Newton's law of gravitation. Today we are going to discuss about the certain different or say in-depth aspects regarding to the same Newton's law of gravitation. See, this is a mutual attraction. This is a mutually attracted force. We know that. Then how this force is that whenever the two bodies attract each other, this force is along the line joining the two objects and moreover the magnitude of force exerted by the first body on the second and is equal to that of magnitude of force exerted by the second body on the first. They are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. See, we will see here. Consider 2 point masses. Say suppose m1 be any point mass, m2 is any point mass. This is a coordinate system we have considered, in which suppose mass m1 is situated at r1, position vector r1 from the center of mass or say origin, from the origin position vector r1 of point mass having m1. Then second, the point mass having mass m2 is situated from the origin whose position vector can be considered to be r2. Now force position vector of m2 with respect to m1 is, position vector of m2 with respect to m1 is r21, or say from it is to with respect to m2 with respect to 1, we will have to write here as a r21. Then the force exerted by m2, which force? Obviously gravitational force exerted by m2 due to m1, we can write according to the Newton's law of gravitation, which is equal to g, constant of proportionality, mass product of the masses of two objects, that is m1 m2, square of the distance between them. What is the distance? Is r square. In vector form, when we are going to write this force, we will have to write here r into unit vector r21, which is directed from m1 to m2, isn't it? See here, from m1 to m2, we can write this position vector r21 as r2 minus r1. In scalars and vector, we have studied how to find out this position vector by say triangle law also. This is r1 directed likewise m1 to m2. This is what the direction, and this is r2. Then r21 is equal to vector r2 minus vector r1 according to triangle law of vector addition. So this is what the position vector. Similarly, suppose we want to find out the position vector r12, position vector r12, that is from m2 to m1, we will have to write vector r1 minus vector r2. It means vector r R21, position vector R21 is equal to minus of vector R12. Is it okay? See here once again what we have found out. The 2 point masses situated are separated by a distance R, which are from the origin R1 and R2 denoted by the position vectors. If we found out the position vector R21 of M2 with respect to M1 is equal to vector R2 minus vector R1. Similarly, position vector of M1 with respect to R2 can be written as R1 minus R2. It means R12 is equal to minus of vector R2. But suppose R can be considered as vector R, mod of R12 is equal to mod of R21. If it is taken in mod, they are equal. But in vector form, then what is about the force experienced by the point mass M2 due to M1 is G M1 M2 divided by R square into unit vector R21. Unit vector is what? Unit vector is a vector in the direction of the given vector. It means this force is directed from vector M1 to M2 experienced by M2. Similarly, exactly opposite to that, force experienced by point mass M1, force experienced by point mass M1, that is F12, we have nominated as experienced by point mass M1 due to M2 is equal to, it can be written as G M1 M2 divided by R square into unit vector minus of vector R12. Isn't it? Fine. It means from these two equations we can conclude, this is equation 2, then F121 is equal to minus of F12. What are these two forces? These two forces are nothing but force experienced by point mass M1 due to M2 and force experienced by M2 due to M1. They are having equal magnitudes. They are equal. From these two equations, we conclude that they are having equal magnitude, but the directions are opposite. This is how, this is the second aspect regarding we have proved that this gravitational force is a mutual force. It acts between the 2 point objects which are having equal magnitude and directed oppositely. Then the second point about this again gravitational force is that, say up to this we are considering this force of attraction exists between any two objects. Then suppose a system of particles is there. A system of particles, say suppose, or a collection of particles. A particle of mass M1 situated at here, another mass M2, then third M3 and then M4. See, 4 point masses are there. Means we have considered now the collection of point masses and what is about the gravitational force experienced by any point mass due to number of point masses. Then see here, this mass M1 get attracted due to, or it is exerted by a force due to mass M2, due to mass M3, due to mass M4. Similarly, these masses M2, M3 and M4 are also get attracted or exerted by a point mass M1 also. So, what is about the net gravitational force here? Net gravitational force acting on point mass M1, if we want to find it out, what we say? That force experienced by a point mass M1 due to number of point masses is equal to, it is equal to vector sum of number of forces acting on it. That is vector sum of means, see, suppose force experienced by point mass m1 must be the vector sum of F12, right? F12 plus F13, then plus F14. Fine. Do you get this? See here, what is about the net gravitational force experienced by any point mass due to number of point masses is equal to the vector sum of forces but due to the all other point masses joining the line or which are along the line. Similarly, we have not shown here, these point masses also experienced gravitational force due to m1 because this is what a mutual force. Fine. This is the second point about the gravitational force. First of all, it is a mutual force which acts between any two point masses which are having equal magnitude and oppositely directed. Secondly, force experienced by any point mass due to number of masses, point masses, is the vector sum of the forces, gravitational forces due to all other point masses which acts between these two points joining the line. Fine. Similarly, we can consider, here we have considered, say suppose 4 point masses are there, m1, m2, m3 and m4. If n particles are there, fine. If we have considered n particles are there, then for n particles, what is about the net gravitational force? Say suppose we can consider, suppose n point masses are there, then force experienced by any ith particle of certain mass, ith particle is the vector sum of j is equal to 1 to n, where j is not, this j is not equal to I. This is different than I. If force due to Ij means summation, that is vector sum of what? What is force Ij? It is the force experienced by the ith particle due to jth particle. Up to this, the same concept is that is this is a mutual force. It acts between any two particles. So suppose I and j are the two particles. Up likewise from j is equal to 1 to n, force, which gravitational force or resultant gravitational force experienced by ith particle is equal to vector sum of forces experienced by the jth particle from j is equal to 1 to n. Likewise, we can conclude for the gravitational force for two particles, for say number of particles, and the 2 to 3, 4, 5 particles, or say number of particles generalized, we conclude that it is gravitational force, resultant gravitational force, or say net gravitational force experienced by any object, any point mass is the vector sum of number of point masses which are acting on it. It is vector sum. So this is some of the concept regarding to the gravitational force. Now furthermore, these number of particles we have considered. Instead of that, suppose we have considered a closed loop. Fine, a closed loop. For this closed loop, what is about the gravitational force. Say suppose this closed loop means it is an extended body. We are going to consider gravitational force experienced by any point mass, say suppose A, and an extended body. See, about gravitational force we are discussing about the different aspects. The third concept is that we have considered any point mass, say suppose A, and another body is an extended body like Earth. Then what is the gravitational force experienced by this point mass A due to this extended body like Earth? We can consider, for example, say suppose any hollow thin spherical shell. Any hollow thin spherical shell, we have considered this is a thin spherical shell and this is a point mass A. What is the net gravitational force experienced by this point mass A due to this spherical shell? Then it is equal to this gravitational force experienced by point mass A is nothing but 0. Why? See here. One more thing, this point mass A is inside the shell. If we have considered first one, suppose this point mass is inside the shell, then the number of forces due to this point mass, due to this extended body on the point mass, they are having equal magnitude but oppositely directed, right? See here. From this extended body is made up of large number of points. So these points, each and every point with the help of which this extended body is made up of. ही जी extended body बनलेली आहे त्या extended bodyच्या प्रत्येक particle काय करेल? It will exert gravitational force on this point mass A. Fine. But as this point mass A is situated at the center of this shell. Where does it situated? It is situated at the center of the shell. Thereby, the force experienced by each of this point mass due to extended body is having equal force, equal magnitude of force, but the directions are opposite. But see here, if we found out the diametrically opposite forces get cancel out each other. हा जो फोर्स आहे याच्या डायमेट्रिकली अपोजिट फोर्स आहे, दे विल कॅन्सल बिकॉज देअर मॅग्निट्यूड इज इक्वल अँड दे आर डायरेक्टेड अपोजिटली. देअरफॉर दे विल कॅन्सल इच अदर. त्यांचा जो इफेक्ट आहे तो काय होईल? नलिफाय होईल, झिरो होईल. लाईकवाईज each diametrically opposite forces get cancel each other and we found that the resultant gravitational force acting on a point mass inside a spherical shell due to an extended body is equal to 0. This force is equal to 0 if it lies inside this if it is lies at the center of the shell. Furthermore, suppose we consider this point A is not situated at the center. If it is situated somewhere here, consider it is somewhere here, anywhere like this, then it's this first of all, as we have considered for this point mass, this spherical shell or hollow spherical shell must be of uniform density. It should be of uniform density, means distribution of mass along the shell must be equal. mass distribution कसं झालेलं आहे? इक्वल आहे. आता हा जो पॉइंट मास आहे हा सेंटरच्या ऐवजी कुठेतरी दुसऱ्या ठिकाणी सिच्युएट केला. इथे समजा पॉइंट मास ए आहे. आता यावर एक्झर्ट होणारा ग्रॅव्हिटेशनल फोर्स काय असेल? तर we found that still this gravitational force exerting on this point mass due to this extended body or due to this hollow spherical shell is also equal to again 0. See why? Because when this point mass is situated somehow near to the spherical shell, means distribution of mass is less, but the its distance from this extended body is less, distribution of mass is greater. Sometimes somehow it having at a larger distance from the shell, but distribution of mass is rarer. Likewise, if we get calculated, because gravitational force is directly proportional to the mass, it depends upon the mass. It is a force between massive particles, and thereby it is directly proportional to mass and inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So from this formula of or law of gravitation, if we get calculate this net resultant force acting on any point mass due to any spherical shell which lies inside, that is at the inside and at the center, or may lie at anywhere inside the shell, it is equal to 0. This is what the resultant gravitational force. One more and the last one thing about this gravitational force, we can also consider that spherical shell is there. It may be a, suppose say, solid sphere. Now suppose consider any spherical means closed loop and any solid sphere having uniform density. It is also having uniform density. Then what is about the resultant gravitational force exerted by the point mass, but which is outside the spherical shell, which is outside. याच्या कसा आहे, पॉइंट ए कुठे आहे, याच्या बाहेर आहे, ह्याच्या बाहेर आहे. तर ह्या सिच्युएशन मध्ये नेट ग्रॅव्हिटेशनल फोर्स काय असेल? फॉर दिस पर्पस, to find out resultant gravitational force acting on the point mass situated outside the shell, we will have to resolve the component, resolve the force components perpendicular to this point mass and joining the point mass, and consider the whole mass is concentrated at the center of the circle, and by this we found that all components which are perpendicular to this point mass, they will get cancel out each other, and the resultant force is lying along the line between this point mass and to the center of the circle. This is how we can find out the resultant gravitational force acting on point mass which is inside the shell, outside the shell, for n particles, or where n particles, it is the vector sum between any two particles which is having equal magnitude and opposite direction. Such different aspect regarding to the gravitational force we have discussed here.